My name is Greg Hamilton. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. So let me give you a little insight into home. My father had high expectations, low contributions, and you could never do enough. He wanted me to go to college and be a doctor. I joined Marine Corps. Ended up in Vietnam, getting ready to get on the plane to leave to go to advanced guerrilla warfare school before going to Vietnam was maybe the first time that I can remember my dad really telling me he loved me. And I did pretty well and came out fairly unscathed. I did one tour. I did get wounded. Somebody asked me once, were you wounded? I said, no one goes to war who's not wounded. And the physical wounds heal so much faster than the psychological wounds. Here's the flip side of the coin. A kid that didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do drugs. When I hit the streets, I did every drug, smoked every cigarette. Basically, I became a hippie. And then I went back to Ohio, went back to school, because I did a couple years of college in the Marine Corps, finished my degree, went to work for Budweiser, and then decided, why am I getting them rich? Went back in the business for myself. I had about 3 different businesses, and I had just enough to pretty much stress me out. But outside of that, I was a philandering husband, I was a brutal businessman, and as long as it was about me, it was all good. And one day it all came crashing. Marriage fell apart. Met another lady, got divorced, and I got into that rebound relationship. Before you know, she's cheating with my business partner. I come home from a business trip, they're in my house in the bed. I end up doing 2 life sentences in prison. I spent 38 years in prison, 31 of those years in Folsom. My money couldn't save me, my rhetoric couldn't save me, all of my influence and the people I knew couldn't save me, and I'm facing the death penalty. And finally, I went back home. And home was to what my grandmother raised me and what my mother raised me. Trust God. What he did is he delivered me from the old man and transformed me into the new guy that I am today. See, it's the condition of the heart that brings forth the action of the hands. My heart was dark. Before I even walked out of the door of prison, I said, I have to find me a church that God wants me in. The guys told me 2 days later after I got out, hey, we're gonna go to church over here. Would you like to go? He says, and there's a whole bunch of guys that got out of prison that goes to church here, that's veterans, and we have our own little section. And when I got here and came into this church and was so well received, I said, this is the place. I've been divinely delivered because I truly believe that he has me here for a purpose, and he has us all here for a purpose. Our God is a healer. Our God is a deliverer. He promises you that. He's not going to leave you or forsake you. All you got to do is trust it. It's all because of him.